For the first time in 4 years, the Tampa Bay Lightning will not be going to the Stanley Cup Final. Adam Denker is here to break down what went wrong in their series against Toronto and to look ahead to the offseason in Tampa. Gil Martin here. The Locked On Road to the Stanley Cup continues as we welcome Adam Denker from Locked On Lightning to discuss the team's first-round playoff exit and take a look ahead at the off season that is coming up. Adam, what do you feel was the biggest reason that this year Tampa Bay fell to Toronto?
Well, the biggest reason, Gil, other than the refereeing, which I don't think we're going to even get into right now, but the biggest issue really had to have been that the Lightning got things rolling a little too late in the series. Once they were playing well in those games, especially 3 and 4. I think even Maple Leaf fans agreed that they were outplayed in most of those games. But really what it came down to was obviously, and the big factor in 3 and 4 was that they didn't finish those games. They kind of took their foot off the pedal a little too early. And we didn't see those. And we didn't see that in game 5 and 6. The Lightning were 100% from the opening puck drop to the last buzzer, or as in game 6's case, the last goal. And I really think that's really what it came down to, was that they didn't really start playing full games until game 5. And obviously, that's why we're at where we're at right now.
Were there any players in particular who you feel underperformed in this series for the Bolts?
I would have liked to have seen Brayden Point do a little bit more. I think that Andrei Vasilevskiy as well, up until game 5, was just an average goaltender, really, for the Lightning. And especially with everything that's been going on with their defensive core, especially Erik Cernak being out since game 1, you're going to need your top goaltender who's making $9 million a year to step up and play like a $9 million goaltender. So, he did come through in 5. That extended the series. He played very well the other night as well in the series-ending loss. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more out of Brayden Point and especially Andrei Vasilevskiy.
How about some bright spots? Anything that stood out that could be carried forward by the Lightning over the summer or even into next year?
Alex Killorn's play, I think, is something that's going to be spoken a lot about this upcoming offseason. Alex Killorn becomes a UFA now this summer, and a lot's been spoken about just in general. What are the Lightning going to do with him? Are they going to re-sign him? If they do, what is going to be his value? Killorn's had a little bit of a bounce back season, and I mean that by having a decent season last year, but then completely disappearing throughout the course of the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. And he's really done a phenomenal job this year during the regular season, and then has really been the top player on this team offensively in the playoffs. So very curious to see what kind of value his representatives place on him, as well as what the Lightning will be shooting for in terms of a long-term deal. So yeah, that is definitely the one thing that I could take away, and all Lightning fans should, from this series.
Obviously, 2 Stanley Cups and a Stanley Cup final appearance in the last 3 years before this year. Does losing in the first round render this season a failure for the Lightning?
No, I don't think it is. Obviously, Lightning fans would have liked to have gone back to the final and see what happens. But I think that in the long run, I think that this is somewhat of a blessing in disguise for the Tampa Bay Lightning. As we all know, they have by far played the most games and that's including regular season and postseason games. They have played the most games out of any franchise over the last 4 years. And really, I think that when it comes down to it, these guys needed a break, So, and I think that it also gives their front office an opportunity to kind of sit back, look at the books, and see what they need, what they don't need in terms of, who to bring back, who is earned themselves a place on next year's team. And I think that next year we're going to be talking about, especially this time of year, we're going to be talking about that, maybe that getting knocked out in the first round was the best thing for them. We're going to see a revitalized Tampa team and a team that's going to be possibly on the brink of making another run for the next couple of years here.
So do you expect any changes this summer in response to the elimination in the first round?
I'm sure we'll see some players cycled out. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last we see of Pat Maroon, Edouard Bellemare, and Corey Perry. I really have fallen in love with Corey Perry the last 2 years. I thought he's played very well. I thought he's done a very good job of mentoring some of the younger players on this team. But yeah, it's been, you could see it this year. And you've seen at certain points in this playoffs, just those three guys, their ages catching up to them, and the wear and tear of them playing on that fourth line really gotten to them. I think those are the three names we're going to see probably cycled out this summer.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining us. That does it for our Lightning look back at round one and look ahead to the offseason here on the Locked On Road to the Stanley Cup. Be sure to subscribe to or follow Locked On Lightning for free on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. The Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.